Welcome, everyone. Today's topic of discussion is about addressing the rapidly growing issue of urbanization in Africa. Our continent, Africa, is experiencing an urbanization rate that is unparalleled. With cities expanding more rapidly than ever before, millions are moving from rural areas towards these urban hubs, seeking improved life conditions and opportunities. These swift urban developments bring with them a unique array of challenges that demand immediate attention. The growth of African cities is accelerating faster than we can manage to cater to their basic needs and infrastructure. This surge in growth is increasing the demand for essentials like housing, sanitation, and easily accessible clean water. Many of our cities, regrettably, are grappling with these demands, leading to a rise in urban poverty and disparity. The urbanization trend in Africa is much more than just numbers on a chart. It's a harsh reality affecting millions every day. The rapid speed of our city expansion calls for immediate action. Opening. A key challenge in our urban areas is the deficit in infrastructure. As we delve deeper into the issue, it becomes evident that providing basic services like water, sanitation, housing, and transportation in urban areas isn't as straightforward as it may seem. Our cities are growing at an unprecedented pace, and the infrastructure that exists is struggling to keep up. Take water access, for instance. Water is a fundamental human right, yet many urban dwellers in Africa don't have access to clean, reliable sources of water. This isn't just about convenience, but a matter of public health. Without clean water, the risk of diseases such as cholera and dysentery skyrockets. Sanitation is another major concern. In many urban areas, improved sanitation facilities are a luxury, not the norm. The lack of proper waste disposal systems and sewage treatment facilities has led to a sanitation crisis. This crisis not only affects public health, but also contributes to the degradation of our environment. When we talk about housing, we must address the elephant in the room: informal settlements. These neighborhoods, often referred to as slums, are home to a significant portion of our urban population. Here, houses are made from makeshift materials, and access to basic services is minimal or non-existent. The situation with transport is no different. Our roads are congested, public transport is inefficient, and non-motorized transport options are scarce. This hampers mobility, affects productivity, and contributes to air pollution. So, let's talk numbers. In sub-Saharan Africa, less than half of the urban population has access to improved sanitation facilities. In fact, 2 in 3 people reside in areas where access to infrastructure is severely limited. These are not just numbers. These are lives impacted by the lack of basic services. Closing. The state of our urban infrastructure is dire, and it's a challenge we must tackle head-on. It's time to acknowledge these issues, invest in our cities, and create an environment where every urban dweller has access to the basic services they need. After all, a city is only as strong as its weakest link. Informal settlements are a visual testament to our housing crisis. Across the African continent, the rapid pace of urbanization has led to a surge in the growth of these settlements. Faced with a lack of affordable housing options, many urban dwellers find themselves compelled to live in these makeshift communities that often lack the most basic services. This phenomenon is more common than you might think. In fact, it's estimated that nearly 60% of urban residents in sub-Saharan Africa live in informal settlements. That's a staggering number, demonstrating the magnitude of the crisis we're facing. These settlements, often referred to as slums, are characterized by their substandard living conditions. Residents typically live in cramped, poorly constructed dwellings with limited access to clean water, sanitation, and other essential services. This lack of basic amenities not only compromises the quality of life for residents, but also poses significant health risks. But beyond the health risks, there's an even more profound issue at play. The proliferation of informal settlements is a glaring symptom of a larger systemic problem, a housing crisis that is fundamentally rooted in a lack of affordability and accessibility. Despite the challenges they face, residents of informal settlements display incredible resilience and resourcefulness. They build their homes from whatever materials they can find and create vibrant, tight-knit communities in the face of adversity. But resilience alone is not enough to overcome the structural barriers that perpetuate this crisis. The housing crisis is not just about the physical structures in which people live. It's about the social, economic, and political systems that determine who has access to safe, affordable, and dignified housing. It's about the right to the city, to participate in urban life, to access services, and to live in a healthy, safe environment. The housing crisis is one that requires our immediate attention. It's a complex issue that demands comprehensive, inclusive, and sustainable solutions. And it's a call to action for all of us, policymakers, urban planners, and citizens alike, to work together in creating cities that are not only livable but also equitable and just. Inequality and poverty are two sides of the same coin in our urban areas. Rapid urbanization in African cities has led to a surge in urban poverty, with an alarming number of people living on less than $1 a day. This is not just a matter of numbers, it's about human lives and dignity. The root cause of urban poverty lies in the informal sector employment that is rampant in our cities. Millions of people are engaged in low-paying, unregulated jobs with no social security or health benefits. This informal sector, which includes street vending, small-scale manufacturing, and casual labor, is a survival strategy for the urban poor, but it perpetuates the cycle of poverty and inequality. Low wages and irregular income make it impossible for many urban dwellers to afford basic necessities like food, shelter, and healthcare. In fact, a significant number of people in African cities spend more than half of their income on food alone, leaving little for other basic needs. This is a clear indicator of the depth of poverty and the severity of inequality in our urban centers. Limited access to basic services further exacerbates urban poverty. Imagine living in a city but having no access to clean water, sanitation facilities, healthcare, or education. This is the grim reality for millions of urban residents, especially those living in informal settlements. Now, let's bring in some unsettling numbers. Over 20% of urban residents in Africa live in extreme poverty. The rates are even higher in informal settlements, where up to 50% of the population live below the poverty line. These figures are not just statistics, they represent the faces of our friends, our neighbors, our fellow city dwellers. They are a stark reminder of the urgent need to address urban poverty and inequality. The link between urbanization, poverty, and inequality is clear. Rapid urbanization without effective planning and equitable development leads to increased poverty and deepens inequality. And as we continue to urbanize at an unprecedented rate, these challenges will only grow. With every passing day, the gap widens. It's time we bridged it. Our cities are growing, but at what cost to our environment? Rapid urbanization brings with it a myriad of environmental challenges. As cities expand, they often encroach upon natural habitats, leading to deforestation and loss of biodiversity. The trees that once absorbed carbon dioxide are replaced with concrete structures, contributing to an increase in greenhouse gas emissions. In addition, urban areas are hotspots for air and water pollution. The burning of fossil fuels for transportation and energy, coupled with improper waste management, leads to poor air quality. Statistics show that air pollution levels in many African cities exceed World Health Organization guidelines by a staggering 5 times. Deforestation rates, too, are alarming. Every minute, an area equivalent to 20 football fields of forest is lost to urban expansion. Such environmental degradation not only threatens the health of urban residents, but also jeopardizes the sustainability of our cities. Our cities must grow, but not at the expense of our environment. For every challenge, there is a solution. Sustainable urban development is ours. As we navigate the urbanization journey, it's crucial to explore initiatives that promote sustainable growth. Urban planning is a cornerstone of these strategies, aiming to create organized and efficient cities equipped to handle population influx. Infrastructure development is another vital aspect, focusing on improving access to basic services like water, sanitation, and transportation. And let's not forget environmental conservation, a strategy that safeguards our urban areas from environmental degradation and promotes healthier, cleaner cities. We have seen successful examples of these initiatives in action. The Ethiopian Cities Prosperity Initiative, for instance, has made strides in urban planning and infrastructure development. In transportation, bus rapid transit systems have revolutionized urban mobility in several African cities, and urban greening programs such as those in Nairobi have shown great promise in environmental conservation. Sustainable urban development is not just a goal, it's a necessity. A necessity we should all strive to achieve. Urbanization in Africa presents both opportunities and challenges. The rapid growth of urban populations stretches the capacity of many cities, straining basic services like water, sanitation, and housing. Informal settlements, often deprived of these essential amenities, continue to burgeon. Urban poverty and inequality remain pervasive issues, with the informal sector, low wages, and limited access to basic services contributing to the cycle of poverty. Environmental degradation, too, threatens the sustainability of our cities, with pollution, deforestation, and loss of biodiversity as significant concerns. Yet hope is not lost. Initiatives promoting sustainable urbanization, like urban planning, infrastructure development, and environmental conservation, are making strides. Community engagement and empowerment play crucial roles in addressing local challenges. The Ethiopian Cities Prosperity Initiative, bus rapid transit systems, and urban greening programs are just a few examples of successful initiatives. Together we can create livable, inclusive cities. The time to act is now.